Welcome to Two Old Chicks Who Know a Lot of Shit. I'm Tina McElroy, Ansa, and I'm here with my partner and my partner in life and partner in the on this podcast as well, Wanda Lloyd. Hey, Wanda.
Hey, Tina, here we go again. Episode 11.
Episode 11. Oh, shoot. We're really on a roll. Now, we thought we were on a roll with 10, but now we're really in the double digits. We're
I
happy
know.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. And we're moving into the fall season. Weather is nice. Oh, the temperatures down here are just beautiful, and there's no humidity. The bugs have gone away, and
Yes.
because it's still warm down here, things are still blooming. The plants, even even the vegetable plants, realize that winter's coming, so they're blooming as fast as they can. They're living as fast as they can, and so everything down here is really really beautiful. This is a
Yeah.
nice season, huh?
I think it's about the same in Savannah. It's so pretty this time of year. It's my second favorite season in Savannah. My first is spring because the azaleas out and the dogwood blossoms are out. But I love the fall here. And it's not like we're getting oranges and red leaves for acres and miles like they do in the north, but it's still real pretty.
It is. It is. And we do have a little leaf change, especially if you go on the highway, you can see a bit of a leaf change. We want to thank everybody for joining us again. We're happy to be here and happy to be talking with you. I wanted to say also, Wanda, about the seasons. I'm a summer girl. Spring and summer, I like to sweat. Before menopause, I used to say, I can't sweat too much, but menopause taught me a thing or two, but about sweating. But so I don't like the fall usually, but I'm trying to enjoy every season. I used to get sad when the fall came. I stopped doing that because I want to enjoy every season that we have.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You know what? You just said the word menopause. We need to put that down, girl. We need to talk about our menopause.
Oh, Lord.
Um,
I was talking to somebody who was fanning the other day. I said, I
uh-huh.
got some fans at home. I said, I wish I had one to give it to you.
I know. That's one coming up. We gotta
It'll,
put that
it'll
down.
come up. Exactly. But we want to thank everybody for joining us again. Our main segment, this episode, Wanda and I are talking about something that's really, I'm going to stop saying dear to our hearts, but something that truly is part of our hearts, part of what we want to do. It's a section and a conversation that we're calling Mothering Somebody Else's Child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But first, Tina, it's time for us to check in, which is our regular segment where Tina shares something from one of her post-its and I share from my Google Calendar. So let's get started. What you got, Tina?
Well, I'm not even going to take a post-it down because I don't need a post-it for this one. It's really, really, really important. November is my birthday month. And
Yay,
Wanda,
happy birthday.
thank you, Wanda. I'll be 72. I'll just like Wanda. Wanda's
Catching
been
up.
72 for a while, and I've been rubbing it in.
Oh,
So
Tina, you just had to put it out there again. Okay. We
yeah.
claim it. Go on. I'm sorry. I just had to
I,
put that
I
in.
live a simple life, Wanda. Let me have my little small, small victories, okay? Well, anyway, but my birthday month has always been important to me. I think everybody's birthday is important. But I remember thinking as a child, you have such a warped, a lot of times in my 40s and 50s, I had a warped view of what, aging would be. I remember the nuns at the school talking about how, exciting it was going to be because we were going to be able to live to see the turn of the next century and all the rest. And I did the figuring and I said, shoot, I'm going to be 50. What good is that going to be? I can't party or have any fun or, do anything. I'll be an old lady. But we can't get 50 back, can we, Wanda?
No, I don't think we old chicks really want it back. But you know what? You talk about the turn of the century. I had a colleague at the Washington Post named George Eagle. George is deceased now, but he used to say all the time, I want to live long enough to see the year 2000 because I just want to know what they call it. Are they going to call it 2000? Are they going to call it 2000? Are they going to call it 2001 or
Yeah.
2001? And I when the millennium changed, I thought about George that night. when I was
God
working
bless
in a
George.
different
Huh?
newsroom.
He
Yeah.
did. He didn't live to see. He didn't
You
live to
know, I
see.
think he did, but I was no longer working with him, so I was out of touch with him. But he's deceased now.
He's to see. Well, let's hope. Let's hope he lived to see
Yeah.
the turn of the century. He wanted to.
Mhm.
I don't think we're supposed to really, get that age back. You said, we really don't want to. I don't think we're supposed to. It's the past, and around here, as you well know, we wave goodbye to the past because the good thing about the past is my 8-year-old niece told me is that it's over. It's
Yes,
gone.
it's
It's gone.
behind us.
It's
Mhm.
behind us. Don't worry about the past. So for my birthday month, I don't want to waste 1 minute of it. I want to celebrate all month long. I want to celebrate now,
Oh
not the
gosh, you're
past.
gonna be getting on my nerves every day. Well, it's my birthday month. It's my
Oh, yeah.
birthday.
As a matter of fact, I'm telling everybody, people on Twitter, on all the social media platforms, get ready for it. I don't expect everybody to say happy birthday every time. That's okay. I'm celebrating my birthday. I'm going to be celebrating all month, and you're the one. You're always getting me to thinking, Wanda. I'm decided I'm going to seek joy more in my now. I'm going to celebrate more now, right now. In my now, I'm going to go to my seaside library. Who has a seaside library? The library is down by the pier, and it has these beautiful chairs and a sofa set up, and it's right there at the windows, and you can see the ocean and do your reading. I love that place. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to go to the beach and just sit before I do my errands. Okay. I learned that the other day, right? I was talking to you on the
Mhm.
phone. I was too tired to go to the beach because I'd been a good girl and I had earned my rest, but I was too tired to go to the beach to enjoy. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to celebrate my mind and my body the way it is right now, and its power to heal, and that my legs still carry me, and all the rest. I'm going to try zero alcohol beer because I like the taste of beer, and unfortunately, liquor messes with Miss Tina's medication, so I
Mhm.
can't be drinking anymore. But I'm going to try that because I like the taste of beer. I'm going to do the things that I really love, and I'm going to celebrate them at every point. I miss the taste of beer. I like the joy of a beer or a glass of wine. Wanda recently reminded me of my love for the ocean, and I was really ashamed that she had to tell me that her happy place was the beach for me to remember. Wait a minute, we moved here because of the beach. We moved here because we wanted to be close to the ocean. So I don't want to forget any of that, Wanda. I want to celebrate in every way. I want to celebrate my attempts to do what I preach, to practice what I preach. We've been preaching self-care and self-love
We
and
have.
taking care all pandemic, the whole pandemic
Mhm.
years. And so right now I'm just going to sit back, enjoy each day, celebrate each day, and celebrate what now. I'm going to celebrate now. So
Okay.
Wanda, what's on your calendar, your Google calendar, excuse me.
Well, I'm not sure I can top that check-in with all that month-long celebration, but here's what I've got. So
Okay.
my check-in is about the South Georgia State Fair. Tina, did you ever go to the fair when you were growing up? Because we did.
Wanda, I love the fair. I love the fair. Yeah, the fair comes through here and we miss it every year. But I love the fair and everything that it offers.
Yeah. So when I was growing up in Savannah, because I grew up here, I left and I came back. But one of the events I always look forward to was the annual Coastal Empire Fair every fall. And just it was cooler and crisper, and it was just a time for the fair. So that's how I associate it. So just like a lot of communities, our fair was a fun event with for about 10 days. It had rides and cotton candy and candied apples.
Candied apples, Lord, I love candied apples. And the candied apples from the fair, Wanda, were better than any candied apples. The plain red candy, crisp
Mm-hmm.
apple,
Mm-hmm.
big old apples. Oh my goodness, I got to get me a candied apple.
Yeah, yeah. These were the shiny, hard candy kind of candy that gets stuck in your teeth,
Mhm.
but we had young teeth, so it didn't matter.
We
And
did,
and
yeah.
the and the fair had funnel cakes and a lot of loud carnival music and plenty
Yeah.
of games of challenge. physical challenge, including physical challenge. I just always love carnival music. That's the music to me. That's the music. Each ride had different music, and I've always liked that. All those loud noises competing against each other. You walk to the next ride and there's music, and then you walk to the next ride and there's music. And
I don't think I ever would have thought of you as a carnival fair girl.
I really am.
Wow, that's wonderful. Learn something all the time. But it is joy. It is joyful, isn't it? It is a joyful event.
And as girls, some of us would go on dates to the fair, and the guys would shoot balls into a cup or a basket or something. And they tried to win those god awful stuffed animals for girls, And so it seemed like
where they had been before, but we wanted one. Right?
That's right. We don't know where it had been, but it seemed like all the girls who walked around with those big old stuffed animals always had kind of a smirk on their face. It's like, look, my boyfriend won this for me.
Look, my boyfriend got me. What you got?
What you got? Yeah, exactly. And the bigger, the better, because some of them were little stuffed animals and some of them were medium sized. But then sometimes I'd see the girls dragging around one of those. It was almost as big as they were.
If they were an elephant or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, you notice they didn't put it in the car, did they? They didn't take it back and put it in the car. Oh no, they dragged those things. Yeah, no, they did. They dragged those things around the whole.
Oh, you mean right away? No, they didn't put it back in the car. They dragged them around the whole night. You're absolutely. And when they got on the rides, they had the little stuffed animals in their lap holding on too.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh, what good memories, wonderful.
And speaking of animals, the fair has livestock, but that's never been an attraction for me because I don't like the smell. So I didn't go in the barn. Or whatever, the tent that looked like a barn.
You said you don't even know what went on in there, right? Yeah, that was.
I know the 4-H clubs, they competed and got ribbons and stuff like that, but that was never of interest to me. So, in the last couple of years, the fair didn't come to Savannah last year because of COVID, and a year or two before that because of some security issues. So now the fair has been relocated to a new plot of land in the Savannah area, rebranded, if you will, and it's coming back. So now I'm not trying to get on those rides anymore, Tina. Not for this old chick.
I don't know. Hey, you might be tempted. It sounded like you might be tempted.
The merry-go-round is my speed. The merry-go-round. but I'd love to go to the fair at least one more time and just hear the carnival music and see the wide-eyed children enjoying themselves. And I want a funnel cake just for old times' sake.
Okay, well, if you get there, get me a candied apple, okay?
Girl, they can keep those candied apples.
No, I want one. Oh, I tell you how I do it. I cut it into parts, and I can't. Nobody crunches.
How you eat a candied apple?
Hey, if you're 72, it is.
Oh. Well, I was just gonna say this old chick's teeth can't take that anymore.
Oh yeah, have to cut it in slices. Oh man, what a fun check-in, Wanda. Well, Wanda and I did a lot of talking and a bit of soul searching and a lot of sharing in preparing this next section, which we're calling Mothering Somebody Else's Child. Wanda has, everybody knows, a beautiful daughter who just got married, and I don't have any children out of my own body, but we talk all the time about mothering. We talk all the time about how so-and-so doing, because I know that Wanda will tell me, well, she's going to be going to the doctor for something. And I'll check on her just like, and these aren't her children. This is not her child out of her own body. I'm talking about the children that we mother, the children that quite frankly find us, huh, Wanda?
They really do, Tina. And sometimes, you will call me and say, well, what you doing? I said, girl, I just got off the phone, mothering another one of my babies, another one of my children. They call to ask for advice. And sometimes they'll take the advice and sometimes they don't, but I give them the best I can.
Well, everybody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just say I give them the best I can, the best I've got.
You know, that's pretty damn good if you ask me. One of the things that we've talked about in talking about mothering, it's so mothering someone else's child is so particular and so sensitive because it's very different from uh, the people that we mentor. You know, our children are different from our mentees. Now, sometimes it crosses over. My little schoolgirls, I know sometimes, you know, it's about their personal life and about mothering them and giving them guidance in their life. Not necessarily for, you know, professionally, not necessarily for
Yeah.
their work or to get ahead. And usually, you know, your mentees, I think, well, you tell me, my little schoolgirls, you know, almost always start out as writers or something that I notice about them doing. So we have that relationship, but over time it, you know, passes over. But as you pointed out, there's it's a special kind of person who we find for, or who find us for our
Mhm.
children.
Yeah,
Huh.
one of my young women that I mother, her name is April. She had a baby recently, so we talk about the baby. We talk about what she's doing with the baby, how the baby is doing, and it just gives me pleasure. She's not a journalist, she's not a writer, she's actually an HR professional, but it gives me pleasure just to talk to her with all the new joy that's in her life about just life and about being the mother of a boy. And I anticipate that we're going to have a lot more conversation. She calls me Mama Lloyd, and I love
Mhm.
that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, that is lovely. One of the things that you pointed out is sometimes our the people, young people that we mother, usually young people, we started out knowing them, you know, when they were younger. So
Mhm.
I have nieces and nephews that that I have some that I have a relationship with is mothering. As a matter of fact, I have a niece who calls me Mama Tina. I mean, who calls me Mama Auntie. So, you know, I'm her auntie, and sometimes I'm, you know, I'm her mama, and I'm giving her advice or just listening, just listening. Someone, as you know, recently told us that what they need, a young woman in the business world doing things, told us what they needed was just sometimes just a soft bosom,
Yeah.
somewhere to lay their head and just not even
Mhm.
tell what exactly, not even
Mhm.
tell what's going on. Just, you know, hey, I just want to hear your voice. I just want to talk to you. Or, you know, I had a bad day, and you know, and truly, some of my younger children, as you say, you know, tell me sometimes too much. I go, okay, wait a minute now, wait. You know, this is a very smart, very important lesson. Don't tell too much of your stuff to anybody. I don't care how much you trust them. And they go, don't be pulling out on me now. You know, I tell you everything. So it's a lovely experience. It really is. You know, how do you think we came to be these mothering women?
Well, I know how I came to be a mothering woman, and that's because of the woman who raised me, who
Ah,
was not my mother,
and Catherine.
Aunt Catherine. Yeah. You want me to tell that story?
Oh, please, you know, it's one of my favorite
Okay,
stories. Listen,
okay,
everybody.
okay.
It's so cute.
Okay.
Listen.
So when I wrote was writing it for my novel, my memoir, Coming Full Circle from Jim Crow to Journalism, which was published in 2020, I included a chapter called The Family I Created. And I wrote this story about how I decided to wanted to that I wanted to live with my mother's sister, my aunt Catherine, and Aunt Catherine's husband. There were some family circumstances in my life. I'm not going to go on and on about that now because it's in the book. That
Mhm.
led me to make this decision to create my own new nuclear family. And this turned out to be an outstanding decision for me, which I really think led to me understanding how to mother children who did not come from my own womb. So I wrote about the summer of 1957, way back then, when my mother, my grandmother, my mother's younger brother, my uncle were packing the car to go to Columbus, Ohio, and taking me and my four cousins up there. And I had lived in Columbus with this crew for a year already, and I wasn't happy about going back because I just gotten used to being an only child
Mhm.
before my first year in Columbus, my year in Columbus, and I just liked it that way.
Mhm.
So while all that packing was going on, I reached out to Aunt Catherine and Uncle OC, her husband, and I led them up the porch of my grandmother's house, the front porch, and I settled in the swing on the front porch. Remember those swings? And hung from the ceiling. Oh my gosh, I love that thing.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
gliders too. Remember the gliders?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually had a glider. The porch was big enough for a glider and a swing. But I got in the swing, and I just wanted to have a grown-up conversation with them. I was 8 years old.
Mm.
And I wrote this in my memoir. I wrote, you don't have any children, do you? I said to Aunt Catherine and Uncle OC. Of course, I knew the answer before I asked the question. No, we don't, Aunt Catherine responded in her soft southern tone. God hasn't blessed us with children. I already knew the answer to the question, and I said, you want one? I was pumping my little legs so the swing would
Oh, that's
sway ever
so
so
wonderful.
slightly. And
Uh-huh.
Catherine said, "You want to live with us?" And I said, "She said, well, we thought about asking your mother if we could take care of you." She said, "We just weren't sure she would agree." That was all I needed to hear, Tina. I cut her off. I was jumping down from the swing. I grabbed their hands. I led them down the porch step, and I said, "Let's go tell them." I
Make
was
the
pulling them.
announcement, right? Let's
I wanted to
make
make that
before
announcement.
they pack your stuff up in the car, right?
Exactly. They were packing my stuff up in the car and I wasn't having it. So,
Oh
and
wow.
Catherine and Uncle Osi had been married for 12 years at that
Mhm.
point. But you could say I adopted them, not the other way around. They didn't adopt me. I lived under their roof until I left for college. So that was a
Yeah.
permanent thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I went home with you from college, I think either it was either a holiday or it may have even been in the summertime.
I don't remember.
That your Aunt Catherine was the one who mothered both of us while we were there
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
took care of us. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But you were saying that may be at the root of your mothering.
I think so. I think everyone we knew considered her to be my mother.
Mhm.
And I was close to my mother, but my mother lived in a different city. But Aunt Catherine loved me unconditionally for the rest of her life. She did everything a mother would do, like buy my clothes and enroll me in school. But she gave me so much more. She instilled in me my love for reading because she was a teacher.
Mhm.
She taught me about the importance of community service, about giving back to those less fortunate.
Mhm.
I would go with her sometimes when they were working on projects in some of the organizations she belonged to, and it just
Mhm.
instilled that in me. She instilled in me the importance of being a serious student, of course, but
Mhm.
most importantly, she let me fly when I grew up. She never said I had to come home after college to help her care for some of our ailing family members. She didn't protest when I told her I was going to Rhode Island to accept my first job in a newsroom, and
Rhode
instead,
Island. In
from
Georgia,
Georgia to
Rhode
Rhode
Island, they
Island.
had never even come up in the conversation, right?
No, I had to go to a map when I got the job offer to figure out where Rhode Island was. I didn't know. But she encouraged me to move forward in my career, and even though I don't think she knew quite what I did in journalism. So that's where I learned to mother young people who were not my child, the child that I birthed. And Tina, I know you've done so much of that as well. So we're just really proud of that, aren't we?
We're very proud of that. You know, Wanda, we've been probably talking, we didn't know it about the subject of mothering one way or other ever since we've known each other, because that's kind of how we got to know each other. When we met each other at Spelman 50 years ago, you would talk about home, Savannah, and Aunt Catherine, and and your family there. And I would talk about Macon and me and my brothers and sisters and my mom, you know. We talk about home life, I think, is how we kind of got to know each other. But I
Mhm.
think about my mother in this whole scenario that we're talking about families and making families. Like you, my mother was an only child. And
Mhm.
she was not happy with that. That was back in the day where everybody had big families, and she was an only child, and she missed it. And she would hang out with her best friend, Aunt Mary, because Mary had a lot of brothers and sisters, and there was commotion, and Mama felt like it was warmth and love in the house. And so she told us, and children, she said she had babies until she couldn't have babies. She always wanted, a big family. And when she finally got her
Mhm.
last baby was a girl, she was so happy about that because she had always. So, my mother was a very loving person and actively, went out, wanting to have another child, wanted to have a big house full of children.
Mhm.
And she was, uh, she sewed and She read. She had a book of the month club. I mean, she taught me all the things that you just said. And she also taught me about mothering. I was called
Mhm.
baby my whole life. My mother called me baby. She called me bug. She had nicknames, so I have nicknames for all of my children. So I mean, I think that you're right. We learn mothering. Uh,
In many different ways.
for our mothers. And this is
Mhm.
something that we're going to talk about on a good deal more on another show. Is that there are people out there who didn't get this mothering.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that our children are that way. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out here who do not know what mother love is, and they're
Mhm.
acting out of it. You see, you're acting out of it. And I think that one of the things that we like to do is is to spread the love.
And I think as we close out the segment, I think the message that we want to leave is for those of us who are of a mothering age and
Mhm.
have that kind of experience and wisdom, think about reaching out to some young people, especially young women, for those of us who are mothers, who might need that kind of mothering. And for those younger women who need that kind of mothering, whether you're a teenager or a young adult or even a middle-aged person, find yourself a mother if you don't have a mother figure in your life. Because there are a lot of us out here who don't mind giving you a little love every now and then.
Oh, we're happy to. We're overflowing with it, and as
Mhm.
you know, we know a lot of shit, so we're overflowing with wisdom,
Yeah.
wisdom as well. Wanda, that I think that is a wonderful call to action, to leave for our listeners, and that is, look around for somebody to mother. You will get so much more out of it than you have any idea of giving.
These two old chicks have lived long enough to gain a lot of wisdom, and we encourage other chicks who are our listeners to share your wisdom in your family circle and close friends. We call this segment Dropping Some Wisdom. So, Tina, what's your wisdom this time?
Yeah, Wanda named this section. Y'all might know this. And every time she says it, we call this section. And she puts a little emphasis, dropping some wisdom. Yeah, it is cool. Very cool, Wanda. Well, mine this time is some early advice for shoppers for Christmas, especially mothers and sisters and brothers and fathers. Oh Lord, grandparents who have not been able to, have Christmas with their grandbabies for a couple of years. I know y'all will lose your mind and have lost your mind, but I really do say this. Not just because of the pandemic and not because we haven't been able to do this for a couple of years, just generally. Stop buying your kids all this shit for Christmas. Seriously, things. I had an experience. I told you about it one not too long ago. With a friend of mine who had not a new baby, but she was about 5 or 6, and I called to say, well, how's Christmas? And she put her on the phone. I said, oh, well, what did Santa Claus bring? Wanda, she went down the list. I got the number, and I got the so and so, and I got the so and so, and then I heard the mother say, "Don't forget the so and so." Yeah, I got the so and so, and I got the so. I mean, she went with this list, and I was just astounded that my friend was doing this. And when it was over, I didn't really even know how to approach her to say this. I was younger, to approach her to say, don't do, your kids want you. They want time with you, even though they spent all this time with you during the pandemic. They want time with you all during the year. Why don't you give them a gift of every month we're going to do something, or every something we're going to do something? This is a time of giving. Instead of getting so much stuff, why don't you think about teaching them about giving stuff, about going to a homeless shelter or going to um, a food kitchen that might be in their neighborhood, or they may know about. There are all kinds of ways. I know my sister, when her girls were little, would make little packages of sanitary, products and soaps and shampoos and all the rest. And they had a homeless shelter right in their neighborhood, and they would go there every Christmas and not only just give out things, but talk to people and visit with them. And my sister encouraged them to do that during the year. Don't buy your it's early. It's early. A lot of stuff is not going to be there. Your kids will not even remember next year what they got this year. You're going to be paying for this stuff way into next year. Please
especially because the prices are going up. So
prices are going up, and there's going to be a real fight for certain things, because as we were talking about, the supply line has been slowed down. So I really do encourage you, if you see somebody doing it in your family, encourage them. Give your children experiences and your time and your love and shooting baskets with them and that kind of thing. Hold back on the gifts, hold back on the toys.
Well, when I was a little girl, and I know that young people will laugh at this now, but we got fruit and candy, and in addition to the love we got things that were not as expensive, that you didn't have to go shopping for.
You got pajamas, and you got socks, and you got maybe a winter cute hat, a winter hat. But we also got books. I know we got more. We got anything.
I got books and music. I loved records, and so I got records.
You get records, yeah. I got books, and none of the girls in my family really like dolls, So we would get dolls, the kind of the models from all the different world, countries in the world. But we didn't like that. We like the books that we got. If the secret is to be told, Tina, what little kids like these days is the box it comes in. They play with that, the box and the wrappers. They play with that the whole time. But I know people have heard this many times, but I'm really imploring you that in the world in which we live, where we need to be teaching our children about compassion and kindness and giving and generosity, because we see what's happening in the world when you don't teach those things. So that's my dropping some wisdom. I guess that's my holiday dropping some wisdom. What about you, Wanda?
Okay. Well, as we're about to enter the holiday season, my wisdom is about traditions. And I think we're going to talk about traditions some more in an upcoming segment. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody that because we're slowly digging our way out of an unconventional time where nothing is like what it was before, my wisdom is this. It's okay to break with traditions, to start a new tradition. In fact, starting new traditions might just be the thing the best thing that comes out of this pandemic and the season of great losses that we have encountered. So in the next few days and weeks, don't fret that Big Mama's not going to host that big Thanksgiving dinner, because maybe Big Mama is tired, or sadly, she may be no longer with us. But those of you who used to get on planes and fly off to some exotic place every year for the holidays, don't fret that maybe that exotic place isn't quite open yet for throngs of people. Start a new tradition. Stay home. I think by its definition, the word tradition means you can define it for yourself. So do that.
Wow. That's a good wisdom. That really is. And we might want to add to be safe during this holiday season. Get vaxxed up, wear your mask, social distance, all the things that we've been doing. But it's good that we might be able to see each other. We might be able to have a meal with each other. But always safety first. We want to be here next Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this 11th episode of Two Old Chicks Who Know a Lot of Shit. I wanted you to know I want all of you to know how much we appreciate it. We love doing these, but it's work too. And, we like to hear back from you, and we like to hear that you like it. So we want you to know that we appreciate your comments. We want them to keep coming. And Thank you for sharing our episodes with others.
And Tina and I decided that after almost a dozen episodes in 2021, we're going to take a little bit of our own advice and slow it down for a while. We've been talking about self-care, so we've decided we need a little self-care too. So instead of a new episode every other week, we're giving you this episode in November, and we'll have another one in December. And then in January, we'll be back on our regular schedule of posting a new episode every other week. And while we're taking this break, we'll be working with Kara, our producer, as we think about some new features for the podcast.
We do have some good new ideas, don't we? Yeah. Well, don't worry, but we'll be pushing the episodes out on social media so you won't miss anything. But of course, if you follow and subscribe to Two Old Chicks on Spotify and YouTube, you'll get these notifications. But don't worry, you will. And before we let you go, we want to remind you that Wanda and I have also been working on other things besides our podcast. That in 2020, we worked on and published a wonderful and enlightening collection of essays titled Meeting at the Table, African American Women Write on Race, Culture, and Community. And we have wonderful women, smart, feeling women writing about their experiences of being African American and wanting to be seen in this country. So if you haven't seen it yet, or haven't read it yet, or haven't gotten your copy, or you want more copies, please go online to downsouthpress.com and order Meeting at the Table. Wanda and I co-edited it and worked really hard on it. Check it out. Yeah. Well, we'll see you soon. I think that's it for the 11th episode, Wanda.
That's right. That's it.
Love and peace.
Bye-bye, everybody. Love, love.